So one of the things that I talk about often is a pillar of what I teach here at Drop Into Being is learning to be in the world, but not of the world. Now, I know that that's a really common saying that a lot of people have heard. I use this saying because it's so potent at explaining the way that we get lost in the world. And if you're an empath, or if you're somebody who struggles to maintain their own autonomy within here compared to what's happening in the world, then this is for you. It's also for you if you're just really looking to make sure that you're on the right side of humanity during this huge shift that's happening. And obviously you're a nice person, otherwise you wouldn't be watching YouTube videos about finding peace and expanding your own consciousness. The right space to be in, and I think maybe you'll relate to this, is that you want to be in a space of knowing who you are and believing in the best of yourself in this world, so that you're not so attached to fear programs. Now, I'm going to make a secondary video that'll come out this week as well on fear programs and how to let go of them once and for all, and how to be free of them, because that's where your life will really open up. However, today, when we talk about being in the world but not of it, how do you maintain your own autonomy within your own soul and your own being when you're so inundated with the loudness of the world? The world is very loud, and there's so many opinions out there on what it means to be a good human being, or to live a successful life, or to make people around you happy, like how to take care of the people, how to live life, how to actually understand what's happening. So we're going to answer some of those questions today. I want you to know that you were trained to be here. If you have found my channel, it's because we are soul family. And I mean that in a way that we have trained for this to be our mission, and we trained together. So imagine a sci-fi movie where we lived, in communal areas. It's maybe more advanced. It's maybe, or it's definitely more advanced than what we perceive humanity on Earth to be. And we came here to be the alchemists, to even influence change in this particular era of humanity on Earth. So we trained to be here for this. That means that you made the choice to come onto Earth and come into Earth, to come into a body and to experience what you're experiencing. However, the key is to remember this fully, to remember who you are, because our training is within us and it's guiding you. However, it's going to be a lot easier to remember if you accept that you came here on a mission. We're allowing then these codes to activate within us. And when we remember that we are here on a mission, it requires us to know and to move with the knowing that human beings operate in a certain way, and we can use that knowledge then to transcend some of the limitations of being a human being. And this is even a little more advanced than just mysticism or else like ancient knowledge, because we're really talking about advanced technology right now. What people considered mysticism or spirituality in different eras throughout history was just the advancement. It was like whatever was more advanced than what they currently understood. So in some research I've done, there was this village that was completely isolated from the world, and they hadn't known technology. They were very primitive themselves. And during World War I or II, and they were visited by some soldiers who came in on an airplane, and they gave them like goodies and kind of this like food and pies or whatever it was that they gave them, and then they left. And those people from that village setting created altars of that airplane out of like the grass and the trees and the hay around them and worshipped. So what's the point? I think you maybe already know it, but humans use spirituality to explain something that they just don't understand yet. We like to place meaning on what we don't understand. However, this makes us super vulnerable to being influenced when we perceive that somebody else is more advanced or they have more of an understanding of the world or humanity or the universe than we do. A way to bypass some of this doubt as a human being about whether or not you know enough or you have the abilities to be a human being or whether you have the capacity to remember why you're here on this mission. Remember, that's what we're talking about in this video. The best way to transcend that limitation of, do I have the capacity as a human being to fulfill this mission? If I don't remember, well, you do remember because you're still here listening to this video. But the ultimate way to remember is that you are the creator. You need to accept that you are the creator of your life. So again, I'll link another video here. I talked about this in detail about how if you were just to imagine that life on Earth is a simulation and you're in the video game of life, then are you the one being played, the character, just from the character's perspective, being played by a greater consciousness that's in control of you, or are you the player behind the mechanics? And that's where I'm telling you, I'm inviting you to know deep in your bones and your soul and your psyche that you are the consciousness, you are the creator that is playing the character. This is our way forward. And this allows you to then no longer be roped in by the fear and the matrix, because the matrix uses fear to make you attach to the things that you will disempower yourself in order to hold or to maintain. However, the powers that be are only powerful if they have the resource of the human beings in numbers. So the more of us that awaken, the more that we can collectively take our power back. And it's like that. It's like they have created a network out of our own bodies, out of our auric field, which is electrical, because everything is electricity. Everything is atoms and space. Are you guys still with me for this? So if you're not tapped into their network, then we need to tap into our network together to remember our mission and to fulfill the mission that we're here to fulfill. This means remembering our wholeness, that you already have the capacity to fulfill your mission. Now, this requires you to uproot any programs of separation. And again, the other video I will already link talks about that as well. So I'm just gonna like tap in myself right now into my own divinity so that I can see if there's anything else that needs to be transmitted through me right now. Because I feel like I gave a good introduction. However, you're probably craving a few more details about what this actually means and how to translate it. I'm having a hard time translating it to you because I just believe it already. There are already quote unquote memories that you have, sensations, thoughts, experiences. You have these questions about yourself. You feel like they're real, these things that you know about yourself. You can sense that they are real, but you have no logical confirmation of them. They are real. Okay, I can sense that that's real in my body. That's why I'm laughing and crying. But Spirit, tell me more. Tell me what they need to hear in order for them to remember that it's real. Remember sometimes as a child, when you did something somewhat unexplainable. As an adult now, you can look back on it and you're not sure where that came from. And you doubt that you can replicate it again. You can. And you will. As soon as you forget the forgetting. As soon as you let go of the fear that has been instilled in your mind, and it's not the fear of losing what you have, it's the fear of being who you are. Because with the initiation of being who you are comes the hyper mountainous perceived mountain of responsibility to fulfill your mission. And so many people would like to just come here and do get lulled by the pleasures, the comforts of life on earth. But that there is a pull inside of you to fulfill your mission, to be that fullest and highest version of yourself, your whole self. And that's why you follow that pull beyond logic. Because you are being led to the experiences that initiate you and which will teach you the skills necessary to remember who you are. So in whichever way you find that pull tugging on your psyche and your soul, always follow it. Always and always follow it. Act upon it. And as consciousness is more quickly evolving, you need to act on it quicker. Because this time that we're in is the time. It is the time to remember to put back together the fractured parts of yourself, to remember. And I am here to tell you that remembering will not leave you at a more disadvantaged state. You are more at a disadvantaged state. And you are more in dis-ease right now because you are in a fractured state. There is an overlay. There is a distortion in the movie The Matrix, where the people who are living in the trueness of who they are, in the true embodied, when they are unplugged from the matrix, that they live in squalor, or that they live in a lack of abundance and resources. That was plugged. That was there to keep you, to instill a program into you to believe that if you were to wake up, that you would have to be more uncomfortable. Remember, you are a trained, skilled spirit. You are beyond comforts, and that is a human idea. The last thing you need to know is that coming back into your body is the way forward. Because being embodied means that you are out of the fear program and into your own divinity. When you respond to your body's delight and deliveries of information, you are a conduit connected to the other network, to the network that is not theirs, but is ours, so that you can fulfill your mission. You will be more resourced. You will be more aligned to your heart, and you will be more in alignment with the human qualities that will therefore not impede on your success on this mission. It is time to clear the distortions, and it is time to come home to yourself. So come home to your body so that we can rewire the network and your signal so that you are plugged into the correct network, and we can do the work we're here to do. Thank you. This is the second video I've cried in a row. Are you ready? Are you ready for this transformation? I'm so excited. Let me know how you feel. Even if it's not in the comments, email me, because I am really curious how this landed with you guys. And I just give you so much in my heart, because I know so many of you, and sometimes myself, are so lost in the world. And that's why we're here doing this right now together, so that we are remembering together. We're coming home to ourselves. And I had not heard that yet, that transmission about. It was an idea I had, but it wasn't as clear that we are or will be more well-resourced when we're connected. So, I mean, it makes sense, right? Let me know how what you think, okay? I honestly like don't know where to look on my camera. So like this is me looking at the camera lens. This is me looking at the top of the screen and myself, my own eyes. So sorry if I keep looking around. It probably feels a little sketchy to you guys. But okay. I'll leave it at that. Thanks for hanging out with me another night. Seriously, let me know. And send this to your peeps. You know, not the ones that you want to be the ones, but the ones that you know are the ones that need this and that have these capacities and capabilities. All right. Talk soon.